Did you know sound travels farther at night than during the day? It feels counterintuitive, but it is a fundamental law of physics. During the day, the sun bakes the earth, heating the air closest to the ground. This warm air causes sound waves to bend upward, escaping into the upper atmosphere where they dissipate into the open sky. But at night, everything flips. The ground cools down rapidly, chilling the layer of air just above it, while a blanket of warmer air sits high above. This atmospheric inversion acts like a lens for acoustics. Instead of letting sound waves drift up and disappear, the cooler air near the ground bends the waves back downward, refracting them toward the earth. The sound bounces along the surface, trapped in a natural acoustic tunnel. A shout, a laugh, or even a casual conversation can travel remarkable distances under the cover of darkness. So, if our ancient ancestors were whispering around the campfire specifically to stay hidden from apex predators in the dark, the physics says that plan never really worked. The cool night air was acting like a megaphone, carrying their voices far out into the wilderness. So why did they lower their voices anyway? Let's look at the real reason ancient humans whispered at night. Because it has almost nothing to do with predators and everything to do with what makes us human. Many of us have a deeply built-in assumption about nighttime in the ancient world. When we picture the Pleistocene epoch, we imagine a terrifying landscape. Darkness means immense danger is lurking just beyond our sight. Lions, leopards, wolves, and rival groups, all waiting somewhere out past the flicker of the firelight. In our modern minds, it feels completely obvious that early humans would talk quietly at night. It feels like the same protective instinct that makes you lower your voice when walking through a dark parking garage alone, or whispering when you hear a strange noise outside your house. For decades, this exact idea was popular even within the formal science of human evolution. Anthropologists and historians agreed that the mastery of fire transformed humanity because it let our ancestors stay awake after dark. But staying awake in the pitch black also meant staying exposed. The fire was a beacon in the night. So, the evolutionary story went: speak softly, don't draw attention to the campsite, and survive until dawn. It sounds like a logical theory. It perfectly matches what we already believe about the brutal relationship between prehistoric predators and human prey. The problem is, when researchers actually went out into the field to test this assumption, the data broke the theory apart. In the 2000s, an anthropologist named Polly Wiessner did something completely unprecedented. She realized that while we had endless studies on what hunter-gatherer communities did during the day, we knew almost nothing about what they did after the sun went down. To bridge this gap, she spent months living with the hoansi people of southern Africa, a hunter-gatherer community in the Kalahari. Their way of life, built on deep communal reliance and an intimate connection to the land, closely mirrors how our ancestors lived for the vast majority of human history. Wiessner meticulously recorded thousands of minutes of conversation, tracking not just what people said, but the volume, the tone, and the exact time of day the conversations took place. Then, she compared the daytime data with the nighttime, firelit data. The contrast she discovered was absolutely stark. Daytime talk was loud, practical, and highly transactional. Under the hot sun, the hoansi focused heavily on economic survival. They argued over the distribution of resources, complained about chores, coordinated hunting strategies, and engaged in sharp public gossip used to police bad behavior within the tribe. It was stressful, logistical, and loud. But when the sun dipped below the horizon and the campfire was lit, the entire social atmosphere shifted. The loud operational talk of the daytime vanished. Around the embers, the community transitioned into a completely different vocal space. They shared expansive stories, sang traditional songs, recounted the histories of distant relatives, and passed down ancient myths. This discovery completely shatters the old hiding from predators theory. If dropping their voices at night was purely a defense mechanism to avoid drawing attention, you would expect the community to simply talk significantly less. True stealth requires silence. If you are hiding from a tiger, you do not sit in a circle and tell an hour-long story about your grandfather. You stay quiet, but our ancestors didn't go quiet to disappear. They kept talking late into the night. They weren't trying to hide from the dark. They were leaning in close to create a shared space within it. Furthermore, the physics reminds us that a crackling campfire, shifting wood, and voices carrying through the cool air meant the night was actually a noisy, highly exposed environment. It was never a safe place to hide a secret, so if they weren't trying to blend into the shadows to escape predators, a completely different instinct was drawing human voices down to a collective hush. This points to a much deeper truth that completely reframes the mystery of the campfire. Lowering your voice is about far more than just managing decibels or controlling volume. In human psychology, a whisper is a powerful emotional signal. When humans speak softly and intimately to each other, especially face-to-face in low light, it requires absolute vulnerability. Think about the physical mechanics of a whisper. You cannot whisper to someone you are afraid of, and you cannot whisper to an enemy. To hear a soft voice, you have to step inside someone's personal bubble. You have to get close enough that they could hurt you if they wanted to. Anthropologists studying human social bonding have long pointed out that physical closeness paired with a gentle, soft vocal tone is among our oldest and most universal indicators of safety. We need to view that ancient nighttime scene through a completely different lens. It wasn't a fragile group of humans cowering in fear, desperately straining to stay silent against the wilderness. Instead, it was a sacred, firelit circle where the heavy, stressful demands of daily survival finally faded away. The darkness outside actually acted as a wall, shutting out the rest of the world and leaving only the people around the fire. This environment allowed a gentler, slower connection to take over, one that required people to be close enough and relaxed enough to drop their guard completely. That collective hush was never a defense mechanism against the shadows. It was a natural byproduct of what the darkness made possible. A nightly window where status, labor, and daily conflicts paused, allowing people to let their voices and their defenses drop together. The whisper wasn't protecting the physical body from external threats. It was protecting something far more fragile, the emotional space required for the community. Think about your own daily life. When do you naturally drop your voice without even realizing it? We still carry this exact evolutionary rhythm inside us today. Think about late-night phone calls when the house is still. Think about the soft, whispered conversations with a partner or a child after the bedroom lights go out. Consider the quiet hush that naturally settles over a room during a deeply honest conversation with a close friend. The kind of vulnerable, soul-bearing talk you would never have at full volume under the bright midday sun or in a busy office. We still do this automatically every single day without giving a single thought to wild predators or physical survival. We usually assume this nighttime quiet is just a result of physical exhaustion or basic politeness to neighbors. But it is likely something far deeper, a lingering instinct inherited from a time when the dark wasn't just a place of danger, but the only space where the world's noise finally stopped, allowing people to truly hear each other. Ancient humans didn't whisper at night to hide from predators. In fact, science shows that sound actually travels farther in the cool night air. So why did they do it? The whisper wasn't a shield against the wilderness. It was a doorway. After a brutal day of survival, dropping their voices allowed our ancestors to finally share stories, build deep trust, and connect in ways daylight never allowed. So, the next time you find your own voice dropping late at night, remember that you aren't hiding from the dark. You are repeating a sacred, ancient ritual of human connection. It makes you wonder, what other survival instincts might actually be social ones in disguise? Drop your theories in the comments below and hit that subscribe button for more.